I had a dream that I was in some sort of peaceful settlement with family and friends. Everyone was enjoying a life free of stress, as if we were in some retirement home. However, not all were old. The population was both young and old. All of a sudden, what seemed to be nationalists began to invade the settlement and round up all those who were living in peace, those of colour and those who were living in unison with them. We began to flee. My dad's car was closer to the part of the settlement that the nationalists were invading from. I had suggested we try to escape in the car, but he said no. He suggested we run away in the opposite direction and find public transportation or some sort to make a getaway. And as I ran, I saw family friends running alongside me, as we were all split up from our families by that point. A car pulled up alongside me that I started to try to enter, but I stopped once I saw the family of the man whose car it was, frantically trying to join him in the car as they attempted to flee. I abandoned the attempt to join them and opted to travel via the scheduled train. I reached the platform but just missed the train. Then the scene went black. I then woke up in a barn, alone. I kept falling in and out of sleep until I saw a young white man alongside me. He began to interrogating me along the lines of things I had no power over, about how things were for his family and how it was all our faults, those who were in the settlement, that is. He told me how I wouldn't see my family and friends again because they had been taken. I began to try to escape, and the young white nationalist attempted to snuff me out. We wrestled each other, he to take my freedom away from me, and me to escape into the wilderness and find the nearest train. I managed to put him to rest before running out to the nearest train platform. I missed the first train because I had no pass to get on. As a result, I jumped on the top of the next train, and I rode it a few stops before jumping off and slipping through the doors to ride alongside what seemed to be paying customers. This train was on its way to what seemed to be a worldwide event where all were congregating. In my mind, I thought I would be able to find my friends and family at the destination. I rode the rest of the journey, and as I rode, I realized that two of my female cousins were seated next to me. One said how I was funny, and when she would laugh, she would get a tingling sensation in her gut. I tried to laugh also to see if I would get the same sensation, to which my cousin, closest to me, said, "No, you wouldn't understand. This sensation can only be felt by women because it concerns their waters, which men do not have." I woke up and I finished writing up this dream at 9:43 a.m. on Monday, the 5th of August, 2024.
In regards to the dream, family separation was clear, and the fact that there was an attack upon those of color we see in the dream. I think a lot of it is obvious, but some that may not be so obvious is the portion where he was talking to his cousin, and it was women, and it said concerning their waters. And I know for some of you that's not understood, and I want to explain that portion. In the Bible, a woman represents a church, and that's clear in Jeremiah 6 verse 2, Isaiah 54 verse 4 through 6, 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 2. A woman represents the church. Water represents the Holy Spirit. It represents the outpouring of God's Spirit, even prophetic truth. But we know that when a woman is in labor pains, her water breaks, or when she's beginning to give birth, so to speak, or before she gives birth, as she has contractions, her water breaks. And so you're talking about a time frame where the church is experiencing birth pangs until Christ comes, which will be that time of joy. And I think this is so important, and it's very much tied to the Dark Day message, because these are the beginning of sorrows. Let me repeat. These are the beginning of sorrows that Jesus speaks of in Matthew 24. I believe that's in verse 8 or 9.
And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my Spirit. And I will shew wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come.